You are listening to Dear Texas Radio, where we encourage Texans to drop everything and read. Your host for today is B. Allen Bourgeois.
And welcome to Dear Texas, where we do encourage you to drop and listen to me on a regular basis. Know that I encourage you not to drop and break anything. We don't want you to do that. We do, however, want you to pick up a great book by a Texas author, sit back, enjoy the book, let the worries of the day or the week or the month just pass through and enjoy and relax. And today we have a special show that is about authors marketing, and it is about our event coming up on July 28th through the 30th, known as the Authors Marketing Event, a great opportunity for authors to get together, share ideas, but also to learn how to better market and sell themselves so they can compete against this global economy that we are in, especially in the United States. In Texas alone, there's over 8,400 published Texas authors alive and kicking. In the United States, there's over 1 million. You imagine what it's like around the world. So you have a lot of competition out there, and you do need to be sure that people know you exist and want to buy your book. And with today's guest, Misty Beller, she is going to be talking to us about how to build an email list and growing a list of fans, people who really want you. So let's get started and welcome Misty.
Hi, Alan. Thanks so much for having me on the show. This is exciting.
It's a pleasure. Yes, and we're excited to hear you talk at the Authors Marketing Event. Your talk is, as we mentioned, how to grow a list of avid fans. What does that mean?
Well, I think every author is looking for their readers, and we have come so far from the time when publishers were the only ones who had the ability to connect with readers. Now authors have an amazing opportunity to connect directly through email and grow their own email list. And it's something that can be a little daunting for authors. We're not usually techie people, we're creatives. But yet email can lend itself to that creative realm once you get it set up, and once you have some fans on board, then you can communicate directly through the written word. So it really is a natural thing for authors, and it's a great way to connect one-on-one. Let your existing readers know that when you have a new release or when you have a specific book event. I've worked hard to grow my list of email addresses from fans through the years. I'm up almost to 14,000 at this point, and it's just become an amazing tool for me whenever I launch a new book. It's really a special thing to hear back from some of those readers as well. I love that reader mail. So.
Yeah. When I first got my very first book published, I was always wanting to hear from the readers. What did they think about it? What ideas did they have versus what I intended to have them? So it's great to always get that feedback. You are going to be going through a lot of different examples of how and when people can build that email list. Is that correct?
Exactly. Starting to build your email list is one of the things that I recommend that even people who aren't published, they should start that. Go ahead and get that list set up. So in my class, we're going to start with how to set up your list, especially the legal specifics to make sure you're not violating any of the spam acts. And then we're going to spend a good bit of time talking through different ways to grow your email list. And not just grow a generic list of email addresses, but have a list that's full of people who are your target reader, who are excited about the opportunity to hear from you or to hear about your next book. And we're going to talk through different ways to do that, both what I call organically, which is people who have read your existing books and are just craving to read the next one, but also ways that you can find new readers directly through your email list. So it might be people who see your name in a book giveaway and agree to sign up for your email list in exchange for something that you've written, and kind of how to I won't say purge, but how to sort through those readers and help them become avid fans who are willing to not just receive free books, but to actually buy your books, kind of converting them from potential readers to paying customers. And there's a real easy way to do that using a set of autoresponder emails. And it's easy to set that up once you know how to do it, kind of how your reader thinks, and then it just runs on autopilot for the most part. But you do get great emails back from readers that way. And some of the ways that we'll discuss in the class to grow your email list work for both traditionally published authors and indie authors. Some lend themselves more towards one or the other, but we'll talk through those things as well. And then a couple things that we'll hopefully end with in the class. One is some tips for using your email list when you're releasing a new book. Just some best practices there. How much is too much when you're sending emails and how much is not quite enough to feed your hungry readers. And then we'll talk about ways that you can use your email list to grow a launch team for your books as well. So it's going to be a lot of good info, I think.
And one of the key things is that we are so overwhelmed with emails these days that being added to another list is not something everybody wants to do. So, as you were mentioning, you'll help figure out of those people who sign up, which ones are really valuable customers. So in the process, as I understand from what you were saying, is you will then also guide people on how to really cultivate and make those people want to read your emails, correct?
Exactly. And it's all about being intentional and finding your author's voice, similar to what you had to do when you were writing. Your tone really should be the same in your emails to your readers as the tone when you're writing your book, whether they be fiction or nonfiction. You're still the same person. So there's definitely some best practices and some tips that I'll share, both in the specific autoresponder emails to use when you're bringing a new reader on board to your email list, and then just some general best practices for how to communicate with your readers so that what they're getting is authentic. The last thing we as authors want to do is be salesy, so we stay very, very far away from that.
Yeah. Another item, you just mentioned that voice, which is so important, both for the author but also for the character. One thing I've taught a lot of authors to do is to, specifically relating to Facebook or Twitter, to keep people engaged, is to maybe send out tweets from the character themselves. Is that something you encourage in your emails, or do you prefer to keep it more on the business level? Give me some guidance there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. When I'm doing a new book launch, I have 3 different emails that I recommend authors send to their group. And it's fun to add some of those just really interesting character-related tidbits in those emails as you're announcing the pre-order and then the release day and then after. That's what your readers love. They want to hear about your characters, and sometimes it might be the pictures that inspired your characters, or maybe just a brief character sketch or a quick side note from one of your main characters. So yeah, that's a great opportunity to be creative. Readers really eat that up. That's, they fall in love with the story in fiction, or if you're writing nonfiction, sometimes you can plug in some helpful tips or tidbits that might be extras that aren't included in the book, or else a sneak peek of what is in the book. So I've done lots of those different things in emails that go out to my reader list.
When you are considered a hybrid author, our listeners, please explain what that means.
Yeah, that's a publishing term. That means that at least one of my books is traditionally published through a royalty-paying publisher. Currently, I have one book that is still with a publisher. And my other books are what we call indie published, which means I work directly with the retailers to have the ebooks placed on the retailer platforms like Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and Kobo and iBooks. And I also work directly with printers and also with purchasers and bookstores and that kind of thing. So I am the publisher in those cases. I've also worked with my kind of publishing team, my editors and my cover designers. So it's kind of like if you think about in the building world, if you're building a house, you have a general contractor. In traditional publishing, the publisher works as the general contractor. In indie publishing, the author works as the general contractor, sourcing out the different subcontractors, so to speak. So I have found that I really like the indie publishing world, mostly because of the quicker turnaround times. I and my readers are not at the mercy of long publishing lead times. So I'm able to write the books and move them through the editing process a little quicker so that readers can get the next book quicker. So currently I have one book that is traditionally published still and 10 books that are indie published. And I write in the Christian historical romance genre, so along the lines of Karen Whittemeyer and some authors like that, Jeanette Oak. I do have one series that's set in Texas near Seguin, which is right outside of San Antonio. I'm really excited to get back to Texas for the Authors Marketing Conference.
Right. And with the few seconds we have left, where can people find you on the Internet?
Yeah, so readers can find me at my reader website, which is mistymbeller.com. And authors can find me at my author blog, which is theambitiousauthor.com. THE, and then the word ambitious, and then author.com. So.
Great. Well, we're going to step away for our sponsors to do their thing. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the sessions coming up and other things that you do. Be right back.
Dear Texas would like to thank our sponsors, EBG 247, where you can find ebooks galore 24 hours, 7 days a week at ebg247.com. Wimberley Valley Tourism welcomes people to explore the many fine shops, restaurants, and wineries that make Wimberley special. More at wvtla.com. McKinney, Texas's quaint downtown square, rich in history, entices visitors to discover its more than 100 eclectic shops and eateries. With origins dating back to 1848, McKinney is situated just 30 miles north of Dallas and 40 miles south of the Oklahoma border. One of the country's fastest-growing cities, McKinney maintains its authentic small-town atmosphere, which is palpable when exploring the downtown streets, taking a walk on one of the city's many nature trails, or even visiting the city's Croatian-style village. Learn more about what awaits you in this picturesque North Texas city at www.visitmckinney.com or call 888-649-8499. Bourgeois Media and Consulting, a book publishing consultant where creative inspiration is realized. More at bourgeoismedia.com. Texas Authors Incorporated, in association with the Texas Authors Institute of History and Drop Everything and Read Texas Incorporated, are proud to present the 3rd annual short story contest. Entries can be submitted between March 1st through July 31st. Winners are published in an anthology that helps raise money for the Dear Texas literacy programs, which has helped raise over $15,000 over the past 2 years. To learn more on how to enter the contest, go to ebg247.com or txshorts.com. Contest is available only to residents of Texas. You are listening to Dear Texas Radio, where we encourage Texans to drop everything and read. Your host for today is B. Allen Bourgeois.
And welcome back to Dear Texas Radio, where we do encourage you to drop everything and read. Today is a special segment talking about the author's marketing event scheduled for July 28th through the 30th in Houston, Texas. It is a weekend event where authors from all around the world will come together, have a chance to sit down and chat about ideas on marketing, but more specifically to learn from some professionals who have done it and can give you really good insight on the ins and outs of marketing for authors. And one of those people is Misty Beller, who's with us on the line. Welcome back, Misty.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks. It's great to talk with the listeners here, and I can't wait to meet some of them at the author marketing event. It's going to be a really great event.
It is. Being our second at it, we're really excited about it, and we're continuously growing it. So, and the authors do benefit, so that's one of the really neat things. Along with not only talking about how to grow a list of avid fans, which is the main focus you'll have at this event, people will be able to sit down with you in consultation time while you're there in Houston and talk about other things that you do for them, for authors in general too. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. My background prior to writing is in the corporate world, and I've done a lot with project management and marketing. So I really like to kind of step back and look at the big picture of things, and I tend to apply that to book sales as well. So I love to work with authors and kind of help them take a look at where they are with their book sales and what their goals are, and how they're reaching readers, and either help them with a strategy to expand their reach a little more and get their books out where their target audience is. So I love to do that one-on-one, and I love to talk to authors as a group as well. Authors are such an amazing group of people, so smart and intellectual, but usually just really down to earth and kindred spirits, I guess you might say.
Through your website, actually your blog, theambitiousauthor.com, you also have the blog where you talk about pricing strategies, advertising platforms, when and how pre-orders work best, borrows versus buys on Amazon, KDP, and a lot more. What other information do you, on an average, give out to authors through your blog that would drive them to want to read more?
Yeah, so my blog started as just an opportunity for me to share some best practices. I do so much one-on-one, just coaching and mentoring, that I needed a place to kind of put some articles or some things that I was repeating a number of times. And so that's how I started the blog, and can sign up to receive those articles as I post new ones at theambitiousauthor.com. But I just post best practices and things that I find the world of book marketing is changing constantly. And it's not so much that it's changing as there are new tools and new opportunities for authors. I tell authors that now is really one of the most exciting times to be an author because there's so many opportunities to meet readers. And every time I think, you know what, there can't be many more people out there who like Christian historical romance, Western novels set in the mountains or the frontier, which is what I write. And it just amazes me that I continue to meet more readers and how many opportunities there are. So I try to keep those updated on the blog. I'm not always as timely as I'd like to be, but it's been a really neat way to reach people and to meet new authors. And I try to make it a good, helpful resource. I do update older blog posts as I find that things change. One thing that does get a decent amount of traffic on the blog that authors seem to find particularly helpful is I have several posts on Facebook ads. That's kind of a new area not really new, but new within the last couple of years, where authors can meet new readers. However, Facebook ads can be a little daunting to set up if you've never done them before. So I have a couple step-by-step tutorials depending on the type of ad, and then a post about just troubleshooting until you can find your target audience, that reader who really loves the books you write. And I do also have several blog posts on just how to find your target audience. Who are those people? It's more than a demographic. It's more than women over the age of 45 or American citizens who live in the South. It's a whole reader mindset. And so I like to talk through that with authors. That's actually one of my favorite topics to teach on when I teach at conferences, is finding your target reader, because for authors that can be a challenge, a really nebulous thing. They usually try to go back to a demographic, but really you have to imagine that person, and do they like big cities or small towns, or where do they vacation? What other books are those people reading? That's usually a really good starting point. But there's lots of different ways that authors can find their target reader, and I cover a number of those on my blog as well. So just lots of info out there. One other thing that I've been working on recently is a new book. It's a nonfiction book about marketing, how to market a book release. It releases next Tuesday, actually, so you can find that on Amazon, or there's a link from my blog as well.
And, of course, if they attend the author's marketing event, they can buy directly from you at the event, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. I'll have copies there, and hopefully can meet and sign the copy if the author would like. But, yeah, a lot of good info in there, I hope. Good feedback.
Since you work with a lot of
preliminary readers.
Since you work with a lot of authors, what would you tell them as to a good reason to come to the author's marketing event?
There's so many reasons. Every time I go to a conference that has authors, I come away just really uplifted and excited about the next step. So that alone is one reason to go to a conference in general. But this particular conference is about marketing, and looking at the lineup of speakers and topics, there's going to be so much great info here. I'm really excited. I think almost every angle of marketing for books is covered at this particular conference. So as authors are looking at the list of classes, you can just kind of go through and check those areas where you might be weakest, and really fill in those gaps. So you guys have done a great job, Alan, of covering all the different angles and some new ones that I really hadn't thought about. So I can't wait. I already made my list of classes I want to sit in on. So.
Oh, great. Well, the other good thing about it is that it's very inexpensive, too. The maximum price anyone would pay is $250 for the weekend, but it still has discounts available for people, and the hotel room at a 4-star hotel is only $69, which is a great deal that you just don't want to miss out on that.
It really is. I go to conferences throughout the year, and you really cannot find this kind of lineup for that kind of pricing. It's definitely one of the best that I've seen this year. So, and one other thing that I really like about what you've done with this conference is the certification model. At first, that was so unique, but then as I thought through it, if an author really doesn't know where to start with marketing, or they just feel like they need help in so many areas, that certification kind of gives you a roadmap to get everything covered, or as much covered as possible in a weekend. So I love that idea. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, we're excited to have added that. We've talked to a lot of publishers and they are excited about it as well, because they know then that if somebody has that means they're serious about their craft. Not only whether they have a degree in writing or have gone to creative writing sessions, but to also get it in marketing, that's a major plus for them. And so we're definitely excited about that. We only have a couple minutes left of the show, but I would like for you to let people know again how they can reach out to you for either one-on-one conferences or talks and other things that you do. So if you would, please tell them where they can reach you.
All right, yes. So the best way for authors to reach me, either to learn more about the blog or to connect with me one-on-one, is through my blog, theambitiousauthor.com. And if they want to reach out to me directly, that contact page is the best way to reach me. That comes straight to my email, and I always respond to that as quickly as possible. I'm also available on all the major social media sites, so Facebook, Twitter, and readers. If you want to check out my reader website, it's my name, my author name, mistymbeller.com. And I love to hear from readers. I respond to those as quickly as possible, too, and those emails just make my day. They really do. One other thing, I think I mentioned the new marketing book that I have releasing next week. You can find a link to that on my blog or on Amazon as well. The title is How to Market a Book Release.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing you there at the event. It is, again, Authors Marketing Events, July 28th through the 30th in Houston, Texas. And if you want to learn more information, it is the website that's very simple to type in, authors.marketing. That's it. Type in authors.marketing. It'll take you to the website where you can register for either live sessions or the video sessions, as well as access to the hotel room and all that stuff. Again, Misty, we look forward to seeing you there, and we thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks, Alan. I'll see you next month.
See you then. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Dear Texas Radio. To learn more about Dear Texas and its literacy programs, please visit their website at deartexas.info. I am Alex Anthony, your announcer. Have a great day.